Hello and welcome to Let's Be Real About It, where we're real about real life issues. I am your host, Mildred Towns. This is a no holds barred zone. Some of the contents discussed may be offensive to some, but that is not the intent of the show. Before I introduce my guest tonight, I want to give special thanks to our sponsors of the show, to J&K Style Grill here in Virginia Beach, and also to Zion City of Deliverance, and also to the anonymous sponsor that we have that's donating to the show. Uh, if you are interested in being a sponsor to the show, if the show have blessed you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, please contact me through social media on Facebook or Instagram. And you can email me at iheartministries@gmail.com. And also, I just want you to order my book, Truth, My Closet Secrets Revealed. It's my autobiography talking about the devastation, the traumatic experience that I experienced in life, that I don't want you to go through. So read my story and don't do what I did. To purchase a book and also Cry from the Womb, send me an email and we will get back with you to tell you how you can order the book. So are you guys ready for part two? Oh my God, Dr. Serena Harris is back again, y'all, for part two. So, Dr. Harris, thank you so much for coming back for part two and being my guest tonight for part two.
Thank you for having me back. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it's been such a pleasure to even grace your presence, because I'm going to say this again. You just don't look like what you've been through. And thank God for a sound mind. After all that you've gone through, you still got that sound mind. So I'm going to get you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Serena Harris. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a business owner, I am a pastor, um, I'm an author, and I'm just a regular old gal.
And a beautiful one at that. I must say, a beautiful one at that. Girl, when you put on your little dresses, girl, you got your heels on and your little purses, and you just tick, 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 tick. Oh, with such poise and I don't know the other word to even use. You just walk with dignity and pride, and and the way just you carry yourself. I don't know if you see the flyer or not, but that's that picture with the purse that you just with the black dress and the purse. Well, I say you just don't look like what you've been through. But I titled this part tonight, guys. I titled this part tonight, The Second Face. You know how we always use the second phase, but the second face. And this is the Mr. Hyde face. We saw the Dr. Jekyll, that calm, cool, collective person, but the Dr. Hyde person, as I said earlier in the last show, that Dr. Hyde he becomes a sociopath, and he cared about nobody, nothing but himself. He was evil, violent, and little to no conscience. And so, if y'all didn't see the first show, you got to go back and watch the first show. So I'm just going to tell you this a little bit about the first show. And I'm just going to start with after they had gotten married, she found out that she was 3 months pregnant, and they was married for 3 months. He pushed her out of the door. First of all, he went through the house, tore up the house over something simple that her son's dad had sent him something. Was it for his birthday?
It was
That
for Christmas.
for Christmas. And he and Mr. X went ballistic, tore up the house, tore out the Christmas tree, pushed her out of the house, out there in the cold and the snow, no coat, no shoes on her feet. And there she is out there in the cold. So go back to part one and look at part one and listen to part one to get the fullness of the story. But I want to start with once the beating started, and you talked about this some in part one, went on for years, and in between the beatings, the children kept coming. And I just want you to elaborate on this again. Was it difficult mentally and physically to engage your body with his body?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, after enduring trauma of fists of your fist hitting me in my face or whatever physical um abuse that he inflicted on me, it was absolutely difficult to try to be intimate with him afterwards.
I can see that. I can see it being difficult because me myself, I don't think. But you made the comment in the first show that you had to zone yourself out. You had to find that place that out of mind place to where you could go to escape. Being intimate with him. So so you were pregnant by Mr. X 7 times with 5 live births. You stated in the book he purposely caused you to have 2 miscarriages and bragged about the fact. Talk about that.
Yeah, because he didn't want any more children, but I wasn't on any type of birth control. Well, I take that back. I was on birth control and still got pregnant. And so I guess he just came up with his own way of making me not carry the baby to full term, and he would have um, rough intercourse with me and cause me to bleed and to miscarry. So, and he would brag about it that he did that.
And what kind of man besides at that time? I'm gonna say at that time, but one with evil intent to have such rough sex with you that will cause you because he knew in his mind and that was his whole purpose was to have this rough sex with you that you could miscarry. And it makes you think what kind of mind frame was he really in this second phase. And would you say, let me ask you this, when during the time of the painful sex, did you ever say stop? It's painful, or were you afraid to tell him to stop?
Yes, absolutely. I did voice. I did voice. Um, I voiced, made my feelings known. I voiced it, let him know I was hurting, I was in pain. Stop. Um, I kept repeating it over and over again, but he didn't stop.
So would you say that and it's just my own opinion, which may not even be your opinion, may not be anybody else's opinion, but would you say that he used his penis as a weapon to murder your 2 children? That it was his form of weapon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Form of form of weaponry and actually control. It was his way of controlling the situation. Also,
With the rough hard sex, I worked urology. Having that banging real hard like that, a man could easily fracture his penis
yeah,
like that. And I'm surprised with that hard, sex using your penis as a weapon. That at some point he didn't fracture his penis because it had to be hard, and he had to go so deep and hard to cause a miscarriage.
yeah,
So I can't even picture in my mind the pain that you felt. I can't. It had to be which was worse. The If there's a comparison, the painful sex or the physical abuse.
they both were painful, just in different capacities. Both of them were abuse. Again, one was just physically and one was just sexually, but they both were abuse.
Yeah, yeah. They both they both abuse. And Do you think that maybe also that it was a form of punishment? Do you think maybe that he was trying to punish you for something, or do you think maybe that he had a hatred against women, that maybe in somewhere somehow that he himself had been abused, and so call the saying go, an abuser will abuse again. So do you think that maybe some way, shape, form, or fashion that he was abused?
I, to my knowledge, he hadn't been. Um, I he was just mean, and he liked control. He liked being in control, and he just got off on it. Just got off on it.
And to brag about it, who would he brag to? What would he say in the bragging?
Well, he would brag to me, and sometimes to some of his friends. He'd be like, "Well, I made her, lose that," and he would use profanity. Um, so he would often bring it up to me, and again, he would mention it to his friends, and they would come around.
I can only imagine what his friends were thinking.
Yeah,
I
they
can only imagine. They may not say it to his face.
right, right, right. But they didn't agree with the things that he was doing. They were nothing like that. They
Yeah,
were
I don't see no man agreeing with that. But they probably smiling in his face, but when they got behind his back, it was a whole nother story. That they were saying. To know that I have a friend that he's abusing his wife so brutally in that manner, and causing his wife to miscarry, and then purposely, and then bragging about it. Let me ask you this: at any time that you feel the spirit of a victim?
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, all the time, all the time. I knew I was a victim. I wanted to not be a victim, but I didn't know how. Because again, I sought for help and was turned down or turned away, and that just discouraged me. And I'm like, if these people, this organization, and I don't want to put this organization, but it was a large organization. If they couldn't help, then I mean, I just thought all hope was lost because I didn't know what to do. I had exhausted um, all of my uh, things that all of the ways that I was trying to think of in my mind, how I could get away, what I could do, how can I make ends meet? Because again, he was the breadwinner in the family, and so I have exhausted all of my options. And when I sought for help, as you are told to do when you are in an abusive situation, and when the organization couldn't help, that just really, I really felt like a victim then.
So then it brought a sense of hopelessness.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, Talk about how did this traumatize your kids?
Well, my boys, they began to hate him because they saw him abuse me. The children, now most times when I finally was got up the courage to divorce him, or in the midst of our divorce during the process, I think we shared a house, so we still was in the same house, and the children were excited. I mean, they were elated that we were getting divorced, and that's strange. That's really something that's uncommon in a family. Children um, do not want their parents to divorce. They cry and be sad. My children did just the opposite. They were happy. They was like, yes. And they were so glad that it made him mad. He was like, y'all are happy we get a divorce? They was like, yes. I mean, they were happy that we were getting a divorce because they was tired of the, abuse and the turmoil and the chaos. They were tired of it.
So how are they now? That they are grown kids now. They are grown now. How what effect did it have, or are they having now as a result of that? Or do they function well? Do they have flashbacks? Do they?
Well, I don't think they have any flashbacks or anything. They're all functioning very well,
Good.
and everything. I thank God for that. And so they just know what not to do, because of what they saw me go through. And so they're functioning very well. The
That's good. And what I want to do right here, I just want to do a rundown from the book, all the hell that Mr. X put you through. And these are things that I got from the book, just so because the show is only 30 minutes, so we don't have time to go through everything. But I just want the listening audience to know what you went through with domestic violence and dealing with a violent man. Um, 3 months after you were married, uh, you found that you were 3 months pregnant, which we already talked about. These put you out the door, in the snow, no shoes, no coat. He caused you to miscarry two of your children by traumatic, I call it traumatic sex or sexual pleasures, however you want to put it. You were pregnant 7 times by him, and each time he beat you while you was pregnant. You stated he shot over your head, barely missing you, putting a hole in the wall. He held a knife to your throat. He tried to smother you. He punched you in the face. He stomped you. He blackened your eyes. He beat knots on your head. He dragged you by your hair. He tried to put your head through a wall. He beat you with a walkie talkie. He beat you with a telephone. He beat you. Now this is what's crazy too. He beat you because you named your daughter after your mother. Now, I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about that.
well, I came home from the hospital with my daughter. Well, first of all, when he found out her name when I was still in the hospital, he was just like, oh, he just began to cuss. Why did you name her that? I really didn't pay any attention. So when I got home, he just would not let it go. He just was just going, just really irate and just really upset. And he tried to put my head through the. That's when he tried to put my head through the wall. And he just kept saying, "I hate you." He was saying how much he hate my mother. And yeah. But
So, huh?
no, I'm saying I had to endure that. Right. I mean, the day after I gave birth, because I came home. I only stayed in the hospital, I think, one day then, and I came home from the hospital the day I came home. That's what
And
transpired.
he beat you the same day you came home. You still going through the pain, and you still, as old folk will say, you still wide open from giving birth.
Yes.
So you're dealing with that, and then have to come home to deal with all because you named your baby after your mother.
Yes.
My God, only because you named your baby after your mother. And on top of this, he had parties in your house and women in your house and you in the bed praying. Is that correct?
Yes. I'd be downstairs sleeping, and he would. The spirit of the Lord would wake me up, and I would go upstairs. So the Lord would be like, "Go upstairs," and I go upstairs because I had a den upstairs, and go upstairs and bust in the room, and he and other guys and a girl be in the room upstairs.
Wow. Wow. Wow, girl. And because domestic violence is so, let me say, rampaging through the land from days of old to
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I want you to take some time, take maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and I really want you to talk to somebody right now that may be in the midst of the same situation, maybe not the same things that's going on, that you went through, but they in a state of mind feeling as you felt and as my mama felt and as so many others have felt in the midst of domestic violence that I don't have anywhere to go. I have children. I can't make it on my own because God have blessed you. And talk about how you overcame and what's happening in your life now, along with the ministry to somebody right now who may be just in the depth of the situation.
Well, I do want to say that if anyone is enduring any type of abuse, the first thing I would tell you to do is to go, to get out. It does not get better. I know you want the person to change. I know you want the abuse to stop. I know you wish that it was different. But all of that does not matter. You need to go. I'm not saying no one could change, but you need to go. Um, because you don't deserve to be treated um in that way. You don't deserve to be abused. You don't deserve to be hit. You don't deserve to be mistreated. And so, the organization that I was talking about, years later, I'm an advocate for them, and I discussed the fact that they turned me down, and they felt so bad, and but then they didn't have the capacity to hold. But things are different now, and so I would say, please tell somebody that you trust. Call, listen, he hit you, call 911.
Mhm.
Um, please get some help, especially if you have children, because you don't want your children growing up in that environment. You don't want your children growing up in fear, especially in their own home. You shouldn't feel fearful in your own home. Please, 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 um, reach out for help. Um, a neighbor, somebody on the job, anyone that would listen. Please get yourself out of that situation. You deserve so much more. Um, and with that, it's good to get some type of counseling. I would say, um, again, I call myself an overcomer because I lived through it. Living through it just makes you a survivor, but living after it makes you an overcomer. Because I don't have to take a pill to wake up. I don't have to take a pill to go to sleep. You know, God really restored me, and God really renewed me. And in my journey, remember, I had kids by Him. I had a total of 8 kids. Five biologically by Him, but He was also a father to my other three. And so I had to have communication with Him, because of the children. But what happened was He did, after we divorced and everything, years went by, He apologized to me. He constantly did apologize, and even the relationship with Him and the kids got great. And eventually, Him and I became friends. I forgave him. I mean, he would constantly apologize. Just out of the blue, he would just I was the part that he called me, he talked to me, he got remarried, treated his wife like a queen, you know, treated his new wife like a queen. He died a tragic death. He was murdered.
Mm.
But the night that he got murdered, he called my phone. I was the last person he called. He called me 3 times, and then that was like 10 something at night. 7 o'clock in the morning, I got a call. He was murdered that night. And so I'm just glad that we were able to make peace. And I didn't have any unforgiveness in my heart, in any way, shape, or form, and that he acknowledged his wrong, and he bettered himself. Um, and so I was glad about that fact. But if anybody's enduring abuse, please get help. Now I speak to women. I encourage women to love themselves no matter what state, no matter what their condition is, or how they may look. They may not look like somebody else, but be the best you that you can be. You matter. You are important, and you deserve respect. You listen. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. Do not allow anybody to disrespect you. Stop it from the beginning when it first occurred. Put a halt to it and a stop to it. Don't wait till it spiral out of control to try to stop it. No, stop it at the beginning. And so now, it's years later, and I try to encourage women to value themselves and look in the mirror, and they don't need a man to tell them, that they're wonderful, they look good. Tell yourself. And so now I try to speak to women, and now Again, I'm remarried, 13 years remarried, and my husband treats me like a queen, and I thank God, for him. It was an adjustment because when you used to wrong, when you get right, it's an adjustment. You waited for,
Mhm.
okay, I'm just waiting for something to go wrong or something to happen. But I deserve to be treated right. I deserve to be treated like a queen. Absolutely, I deserve it. And so I just thank God for where I am today. Um, and I don't have any malice or anything in my heart. And I thank God that my children are well and they are functioning, and that they all know that abuse in any facet is unacceptable.
Amen, amen, amen. I tell you what, I tell you what, I commend you, my sister. I do. I commend you for your bravery, your transparency, your transfer, and even writing your story and putting it in the book, because if it caught my attention and blessed me so deeply, I know that other people are going to be blessed. And thank you for giving out that word to people, to encourage people. You don't have to stay in the situation that you're in. I thank our Father in heaven that He kept you sane and
Yeah.
able. Girl, I can talk about the hell that you went through with domestic violence. As I told you once before, you remind me of the Hebrew boys when they were thrown into that fire, but because Jesus was in the fire with them.
Yeah.
When they came out, there was no stench. You don't look like you ever been a victim of domestic violence. You just gorgeous and beautiful.
Oh,
As I said, you be walking, girl. Whenever I see you, just pressing. You throw that pocketbook home, girl. You just prancing around, and I just give God praise that you don't look like what you've been through. And I just want to throw this in that I got from Google, and it said between 960,000 and 3 million incidents of domestic violence are reported each year, while many other incidents go unreported. Just think about the ones that don't get reported. It said it is estimated that more than 10 million people experience domestic violence in the United States each year. United States each year. That's a lot of people.
yes, yes,
That's a lot of people, male and female. There are males that go through domestic violence as well.
absolutely.
They have to suffer through that too. So, I just give God praise for you, woman of God,
Yeah.
and tell everybody how they can contact you and how they can order your books.
If you would like to order a book, or if you would like to contact me, or if you need me to come and speak to your women's group or women's ministry, or you just want to talk, um, you can contact me. My email address is drharrisministries@gmail.com, or you can call me 572828513. You can find me on Facebook at Serena Harris, Instagram Dr. Serena Harris. And so, for whatever reason you get in contact with me, you can contact me through those four vehicles.
Yes. And I just want to give special thanks to all those who watch the show nationally and international. Thank you for watching the show. For some reason, girl, my words don't even want to come out tonight. Thank you for watching the show. I love to hear from you. Please email me at iheartministries@gmail.com. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, Mildred Towns. Hit me up, send me a message to let me know, if you're being blessed by the shows, and any special show that may have blessed you, really bless you. We want to hear from you. To just let me know too what city, what country it is that you're watching the show. And Dr. Serena, and there's nothing else that you want to say.
No, I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And may God continue to bless you richly, abundantly, for all of your efforts and your endeavors. I just pray nothing but grace upon you, and
Thank you.
that everyone that view um your ministry, will be blessed.
Amen. Until next week, let the peace of God reign, rule, and abide in your hearts. I'm Mildred Towns. Thank you for watching.